My name is Maria. I live in a small town. I study English for many years. I know many words. I know grammar rules. I can read English books. I can write English emails. But there is one big problem. I cannot speak. When someone talks to me in English, my mind goes blank. My heart beats fast. My hands feel cold. I want to say something, but no words come out. This happens to me again and again. Maybe this happens to you too. One day I go to a coffee shop. A tourist asks me a question in English. He says, "Excuse me, where's the train station?" I know this sentence. I understand every word, but I freeze. I just point with my hand. I do not say anything. He says, "Thank you," and walks away. I feel bad. I know English, but I could not speak it, not even one sentence. That night, I think about this moment. Why did I freeze? I know the words. I know the grammar. So why is speaking so hard? I open my old notebooks. I see pages and pages of grammar rules. I see long lists of vocabulary. I studied for years, but I never practiced speaking, not even once. I studied English like a subject, like math, like history. I never used it like a real language. I never used it to talk to a real person. This is the first big problem for most English learners. We study English in our heads. We do not use it with our mouths. We read silently. We write quietly. We listen to lessons. But we do not speak. So when the moment comes and someone talks to us, our mouth does not know what to do. It is like a person who reads many books about swimming but never goes into the water. When they jump in the pool, they do not know how to swim. The knowledge is there, but the body does not know how to use it. The next day, I decide to change something small. I do not try to speak with another person. That feels too scary right now. Instead, I try something easier. I stand in front of the mirror. I look at myself. I say one simple sentence in English. I say, "Good morning. How are you today?" My voice sounds strange. I feel a little silly. But nothing bad happens. The room is quiet. No one laughs at me. I say it again. "Good morning. How are you today?" This time it feels a little easier. This is the first wall that every English learner must break. The wall of fear. The fear of making a mistake. The fear of sounding strange. The fear of someone laughing at us. This fear is very strong. It can stop us before we even try. But here's something important. This fear lives mostly in our mind. It is not real. When I speak alone in my room, nothing bad happens. No one judges me. No one laughs. I am safe. So this is the perfect place to start. Every day I do this small practice. I stand in front of the mirror. I say a few simple sentences. My name is Maria. I live in a small town. I like coffee in the morning. At first it feels strange, but after a few days, something changes. My mouth starts to feel more comfortable. The words come out faster. I do not need to think so much. It becomes a little bit natural. 1 week later, something small happens. A neighbor from another country says hello to me in English. Before, I would freeze. But this time, something different happens. My mouth remembers the practice. I say, "Hello, how are you today?" It is simple, it is short, but I said it, out loud, to a real person. My heart still beats a little fast, but I do it. And after I say it, I feel something wonderful. I feel proud. I feel light. I feel like I just opened a small door. This is the real beginning. Not big conversations, not perfect grammar, just one small sentence, said out loud, without fear. This is the first step that every successful English speaker takes. They do not start with long, perfect speeches. They start with one small sentence, then another, then another. Slowly, the fear gets smaller. Slowly, speaking becomes normal. Slowly, the mouth learns what to do. If you want to start speaking English, do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until you know enough words or enough grammar. Start today. Start small. Stand in front of a mirror. Say one simple sentence. Say your name. Say how you feel. Say what you like. It does not matter if it sounds strange. It does not matter if you feel silly. No one is watching. No one is judging. Remember this. English is not a subject to study only in books. English is something you do. It is something you use with your mouth, your voice, and your breath. The more you use it, even alone, the more natural it becomes. The fear does not disappear in one day. But every time you speak, even one small sentence, the fear becomes a little smaller. And one day, like me, you will speak to a real person without freezing. You will feel proud. You will feel ready for more. Now that we understand this first step, breaking the fear and starting to speak out loud, we are ready for the next step. We need words, real words, useful words. We need words, real words, useful words, words we can use in real conversations. In the next chapter, we will learn the easiest way to build a strong word bank without boring lists, without hard memorizing, and without stress. Chapter 2. Building your word bank the easy way. Now I can say small sentences without freezing. I feel a little proud, but soon I notice something new. When I try to say more, I get stuck. I want to talk about my day. I want to talk about my family. I want to talk about my work. But I do not have enough words. I know good morning. I know thank you. I know a few simple sentences. But real conversation needs more. It needs many words, ready to use at the right moment. So I think about my old way of learning words. In school, we had long lists. Every week we got 20 new words. We had to write them again and again. We had to remember the meaning in our language. Then we had a test. I remember many of those words for the test. But after the test, most of them disappear from my head. A few days later, I cannot remember them anymore. It is like writing on sand near the sea. The waves come, and the writing disappears. One day, I talked to a friend. His name is Daniel. He speaks English very well. I ask him, "How did you learn so many words?" He smiles and says, I did not learn words from lists. I learned words from stories. I am surprised. I ask him, stories? Like books? He says, yes, simple books, simple stories. I read them often. The words come again and again. My brain remembers them naturally. This sounds strange to me, but I decide to try it. I go to a small bookshop. I ask the man there, do you have very easy English books for beginners? He shows me a small shelf. There are short books with big letters and simple sentences. I open one book. It is about a girl who travels to a new city. I read the first page. I understand almost every word. There is only one word I do not know. The word is platform. I do not stop. I do not run to the dictionary. I remember what Daniel said. Just continue. The word will come again. So I continue reading. A few lines later, I see the word platform again. This time, with the picture in the sentence, I understand. It means the place where you wait for a train. I did not study this word. I did not write it 10 times. I just read it, in a real sentence, 2 times. And now I know it. I read the whole story. It takes only 15 minutes. At the end, I understand the story very well. I feel happy. I feel light. This is very different from my old lessons. There is no stress. There is no test. There is just a story, and now a few new words in my head. The next day, I go back to the bookshop. I buy 3 more easy books. I start a new habit. Every evening after dinner, I read for 20 minutes. I choose stories that are easy for me, stories where I understand almost everything. My teacher later tells me about a simple rule. She calls it the 95% rule. If you understand 95% of the words in a story, the story is good for you. You will enjoy it. You will understand the meaning. And the missing 5%, the new words, will become clear from the story itself. This rule changes everything for me. Before, I always chose books that were too difficult. I wanted to challenge myself, but difficult books made me tired. I had to stop every few words. I had to check the dictionary again and again. It felt like work, not enjoyment. But easy books feel different. They feel like a friend talking to me. I relax. I enjoy the story. And without trying, I learn new words. One evening, I read a story about a man who looks for a job. In the story, there are words like interview, manager, experience, and apply. I read the story 2 times. I do not study these words. I just read and read again. The next week, something amazing happens. I go to a job center to ask about part-time work. The woman there says, "Do you have any experience?" I understand this word immediately. I say, "Yes, I have some experience in a shop." I do not search my brain for the word. It is just there, ready, like an old friend. This is the power of reading. When you read simple stories again and again, words slowly move from the page into your mind. You do not push them. You do not force them. They arrive naturally, like rain filling a cup, drop by drop. One day, the cup is full and the words are yours. I also start to listen to very simple audio stories, the same stories I read. I listen while I walk. I listen while I cook. I hear the same words I saw in the book. My ears start to recognize them too. Now the words are not just on paper, they live in sound too. When someone says experience or interview out loud, my brain already knows the word. It feels familiar, like hearing a song I heard many times before. If you want more words for speaking, do not search for long, difficult lists. Find simple stories. Find stories about daily life, work, travel, food, or family. Read them often. Read the same story 2 or 3 times if you like. Do not stop for every new word. Let the words come back again and again, naturally, inside the story. Slowly, your word bank grows. Slowly, you have more words ready for real conversations. Now I have more words. I feel stronger when I speak. But there is still a problem. Sometimes, even when I know the right word, people do not understand me. They ask me to repeat. They look confused. The words are correct, but something is wrong with the sound. In the next chapter, we will fix this. We will learn the secret that helps your English sound clear, natural, and easy for others to understand. Chapter 3. Sounding Clear. The Shadowing Secret. Now I have many new words. I feel ready to use them. One morning I go to a small shop to buy bread. I see the worker and I say, "Can I have 2 breads, please?" I say it with confidence. I know the words are correct, but the worker looks at me with confusion. She says, "Sorry, what did you say?" I say it again, a little louder. She still looks confused. After a moment, she understands, and she gives me the bread. But I feel strange. I knew the words. The grammar was fine. So why did she not understand me at first? That evening, I think about this moment again and again. I know many words now. I can build simple sentences, but something is still missing. My pronunciation. The way I say the words is different from the way native speakers say them. The words are correct on paper, but in the air, they sound different. They sound a little flat, a little strange. Not wrong, but not natural either. The next day in class, our teacher talks about this exact problem. She says, "Many students know many words, but when they speak, people do not understand them easily. Why? Because of pronunciation, the sounds, the rhythm, the music of the language." She writes one word on the board: shadowing. I never heard this word before. She explains, shadowing means you listen to a sentence and then you repeat it immediately, copying the sound, the rhythm, and the speed. You become like a shadow, following the voice closely. She plays a short video. A man speaks slowly and clearly. He says, "I would like a cup of coffee, please." The teacher pauses the video. She says, "Now everyone repeat. Try to copy his voice, not just the words, the sound, the music." We all repeat together. I would like a cup of coffee, please. It feels strange at first. My voice sounds different from his. But I try again and again. The teacher explains more. She says, when we learn our first language as children, we copy sounds before we understand the meaning. A baby does not study grammar. A baby listens and copies sounds again and again for months. This is how the mouth learns to move correctly for that language. As adults learning a new language, we can do the same thing. We can copy sounds, even before we fully understand everything. This trains the mouth, the tongue, and the breath. I think about this. It makes sense. My mouth is used to my first language. The sounds, the rhythm, the way words connect, all of this is different in English. My mouth needs training, like a muscle. Just like an athlete trains their legs to run faster, I need to train my mouth to make English sounds more naturally. That evening, I try shadowing at home. I find a short video online. It is a man talking about his morning routine. He speaks slowly and clearly. I play one sentence. He says, I wake up early and I make a cup of tea. I pause the video. I repeat the sentence, trying to copy his voice, his rhythm, his pauses. At first, I feel shy. My voice sounds funny to me, but I am alone in my room. No one can hear me. So I continue. I play the sentence again. I repeat it again. I do this 5 times. Then I move to the next sentence. After 10 minutes, I feel something different. My mouth feels a little tired, like after exercise, but it also feels more flexible. The English sounds feel less strange. I try saying a sentence on my own, without the video. I wake up early and I make a cup of tea. It feels smoother, more natural, more like the man in the video, and less like my old way of speaking. The next day, I go back to the same small shop. I see the same worker. I want to try again. I take a breath. I remember the rhythm from my shadowing practice. I say, can I have 2 breads, please? This time, I try to say it with the rhythm I practiced, not too fast, not too flat, with a little melody in my voice. The worker looks at me, smiles, and says, of course, anything else? She understands me immediately. No confusion, no, sorry, what? Just a normal conversation. I feel amazing. This small moment teaches me something big. Pronunciation is not about saying every sound perfectly, like a robot. It is about rhythm. It is about the music of the language. English has a certain flow, certain words are stressed, certain words are quiet, certain sounds connect together. When we copy this music through shadowing, people understand us more easily, even if we are not perfect. I start to make shadowing a daily habit. Every evening, for 10 minutes, I choose a short video. Sometimes it is a person talking about food. Sometimes it is someone talking about travel. Sometimes it is a simple conversation between 2 friends. I listen to one sentence. I pause. I repeat it, copying the sound and rhythm. Then the next sentence. I do not worry about understanding every word perfectly. I focus on the sound, on the music, on the feeling of the sentence in my mouth. After 2 weeks of shadowing, I notice something wonderful. When I speak now, even simple sentences, people understand me faster. I do not need to repeat myself as much. My English feels less flat and more alive. It has rhythm. It has melody. It feels more like a real language and less like reading words from a page. If you want people to understand you more easily, do not only focus on grammar and vocabulary. Focus also on sound. Choose a short video with clear speech. Listen to one sentence. Pause. Repeat it, copying the rhythm and the music, not just the words. Do this for 10 minutes a day. Slowly, your mouth will learn new movements. Slowly, your English will sound more natural, more confident, and easier for others to understand. Now I have more words, and I sound clearer when I speak them. But sometimes, I still feel nervous about grammar. I worry. Is this sentence correct? Am I using the right tense? This worry sometimes stops me before I even open my mouth. In the next chapter, we will solve this problem too. We will discover a simple way to use grammar naturally, without stress, without long rules, and without fear. Chapter 4. Grammar without the headache. Now I have more words. My pronunciation is clearer. People understand me better. I feel good about my progress. But one day, something happens that brings back an old worry. I am talking to a new friend from England. We are talking about our weekends. I want to say, yesterday I went to the market and I bought some vegetables. But before I say it, my mind stops. I think, wait, is it went or goed? Is it bought or bide? My mind freezes for a second. I feel that old fear coming back. The fear of grammar. I manage to say the sentence, but slowly, with pauses. My friend understands me, but I feel a little embarrassed. After the conversation, I think about this moment. I know many words now. My pronunciation is better. But grammar still feels like a wall in my mind. Every time I want to speak, a small voice inside me says, "Wait, check the grammar first. Is this correct? Is this the right tense?" This voice makes me slow. It makes me nervous. Sometimes it even makes me stay quiet because I am afraid of saying something wrong. The next day in class, I tell my teacher about this problem. I am not the only one. Another student, Luca from Italy, says the same thing. He says, "I know many grammar rules. I studied them for years, but when I speak, I cannot use them quickly. My brain is too slow. By the time I think about the rule, the conversation has already moved on." Our teacher listens carefully. Then she says something that surprises me. She says, "There are two kinds of English learners. One kind wants to pass a grammar exam. The other kind wants to have real conversations. For exams, you need to study rules carefully with charts and tables. But for real conversations, there is a better way. A more natural way." She explains, "Think about small children. When a child is 2 or 3 years old, they speak quite well. They say things like, 'I want milk,' or 'I went to the park.' But this child never studied grammar books. This child never learned the rule. Add ed for past tense. So how does the child know to say went instead of goed? The class is quiet. We think about this question. The teacher continues. The child learns grammar through listening. Again and again, the child hears people say, I went to the park. She went home. We went outside. The child hears this pattern so many times that it becomes natural. One day, the child says, went to, without thinking about any rule. The grammar enters through the ears, not through a book. This idea is new for me. I always thought grammar must be studied first, with rules and explanations, before you can use it correctly. But the teacher says there is another way. A way through listening and reading, where the grammar slowly becomes part of you, without hard study. She gives us an example. She says, when you read simple stories, like the ones from Chapter 2, notice the sentences. If a story is about something that happened yesterday, you will see words like went, bought, saw, ate, again and again. You do not need to memorize a list of these words. Just notice them while you enjoy the story. Read them many times in different stories. Slowly, these words will feel normal to you, just like they feel normal to a native speaker. That evening, I take one of my simple storybooks again. This time, I read with a small difference. I pay a little attention to the past tense words. I see went, saw, bought, ate, found, again and again, in different sentences. I do not stop to analyze them. I do not write grammar rules. I just notice them, like familiar friends appearing in the story. A few days later, something interesting happens. I am talking to my friend again. We talk about our weekends again. I want to say, yesterday I went to the market and I bought some vegetables. This time, the sentence comes out smoothly. I do not stop. I do not think about the rule. The words went and bought come naturally, like they were always there, waiting for the right moment. My friend smiles and continues the conversation. She does not notice anything special. But for me, this is a big moment. I spoke a full sentence with correct past tense, without stopping, without checking any rule in my head. The grammar simply appeared naturally because I had seen it so many times in my reading. This experience teaches me something important. Grammar is not something we must always think about consciously. It can become part of our natural speech, like breathing. We do not think about how to breathe, we just breathe. In the same way, when we read and listen enough, in the right way, grammar becomes something we just do, without heavy thinking. Of course, this does not mean grammar books are useless. If someone wants to take an exam, grammar books and rules can help a lot. But if the goal is real conversation, like talking with friends, ordering food, or asking for directions, then reading simple stories, listening to easy audio, and noticing patterns again and again, this is often more powerful than memorizing long lists of rules. I start to feel more relaxed when I speak. The little voice in my head, the one that always said, "Wait, check the grammar," becomes quieter. It does not disappear completely, but it does not control me anymore. I speak more freely. I make some small mistakes sometimes, but people still understand me. And slowly, even those small mistakes become fewer, because my brain has heard the correct patterns so many times. If grammar feels heavy for you, like a big mountain you must climb before you can speak, remember this. You do not need to climb the mountain first. You can walk around it, through stories, through listening, through real conversations. Slowly, without heavy effort, the mountain becomes smaller. One day you realize you already passed it, without even noticing. Now I have words, clear pronunciation, and grammar that feels more natural. I feel much more confident. But there is still one more challenge. Sometimes, when people speak to me quickly, especially in movies or in busy places, I still struggle to understand everything. In the next chapter, we will focus on this important skill, training our ears to understand fast, real English. Chapter 5. Training your ears to understand fast English. Now I feel much more confident. I have many words. My pronunciation is clearer. My grammar feels more natural. I can speak slowly, with friends, in simple conversations, without too much fear. But one day, something happens that shows me there is still one more step to take. I am sitting with a group of friends, all from different countries. Two of them, native English speakers, start talking to each other. They talk about a film they watched. They speak fast. They use short words. They laugh. And I sit there, smiling, but understanding almost nothing. I catch a word here. I catch a word there. But the full meaning slips away from me, like water through my fingers. I feel left out. I want to join the conversation, but I cannot even follow it. After a few minutes, one friend turns to me and says, "Are you okay? You look quiet." I say, "Yes, I am fine, just listening." But inside, I feel a little sad. I can speak now. I can read now. But understanding fast, natural English still feels far away. That night, I think about this problem. When I read, even difficult sentences, I have time. I can read slowly. I can read again if I need to. But when people speak, especially fast in real conversations, there is no pause button. The words come and go quickly. If I do not catch them in that moment, they are gone. The next day, in class, I tell my teacher about this experience. Another student, Sophia from Brazil, says the same thing. She says, "I understand books. I understand slow videos for learners. But real movies, real conversations between native speakers, this is still very hard for me." The teacher nods. She says, "This is very common. Many students can read well, but listening to fast, natural English feels like a different skill completely. The good news is, this skill can be trained too, just like the others. But it needs a special kind of practice." She writes on the board, "Listen every day." Then she explains, "Just like brushing your teeth, listening to English should become a daily habit. Not just once a week for a long lesson, but a little bit, every single day." 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Small, but every day. Then she writes another sentence. Choose easy, enjoyable audio. She explains, if you choose something too difficult, too fast, with too many unknown words, you will feel tired and frustrated very quickly. You will want to give up. But if you choose something you enjoy, something with a topic you like, even if it is simple, you will want to listen more. And the more you listen, the more your ears improve. Then she writes the most important sentence. Listen to the same audio many times. I am surprised by this. I ask, why the same audio? Why not always something new? The teacher smiles and says, this is the secret that many people do not know. The first time you listen to something, your brain is busy trying to understand the meaning. It is working hard just to follow the story. But the second time, your brain already knows the story. So now, your brain can focus on something different. The sounds themselves, how words connect, how fast speakers blend words together. She continues. The third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, each time, your brain notices something new. Maybe a word you missed before. Maybe how two words blend into one sound. Slowly, sentence by sentence, your ears start to separate the sounds more clearly. What sounded like one long, fast noise before slowly becomes individual words, individual sentences with clear meaning. That evening, I decide to try this. I choose a short video, about 3 minutes long. It is a simple conversation between two friends talking about their weekend plans. The first time I listen, I understand maybe 60%. Some parts feel like fast noise. I do not stop. I do not check every word. I just listen and let it pass. I listen again. This time, I understand a little more. Some words that felt like noise before now sound more like real words. I notice short words like gonna, wanna, I'll, will. These words are often taught differently in textbooks, but in real speech they sound shorter, faster, blended together. I listen a third time. Now I understand even more. I start to notice the rhythm of the conversation, where one friend speaks faster when excited and slower when thinking. I notice small sounds like and well that fill small pauses. These details I never noticed in my school lessons, but they are everywhere in real conversations. I listened to the same video 5 times that evening. By the 5th time, I understand almost everything. Even the fast parts feel clearer now. My brain has learned the rhythm, the sounds, the blending of this particular conversation. It feels like I unlocked a hidden code, a code that was always there, but I could not see it before. The next day, I try something new. I choose another short video, slightly different, but still simple and enjoyable. I do the same thing, listening multiple times. Again, the first time feels difficult, but by the third or fourth time, things become clearer. Slowly, day by day, video by video, my ears start to feel more trained. A week later, I am with my friends again. The same two native speakers start talking about another film, fast, with laughter, with short words blending together. This time, something different happens. I do not understand everything perfectly, but I understand much more than before. I catch full sentences. I understand the main idea of their conversation. I even smile at the right moment when they say something funny because I understand the joke. One friend notices and says, "Oh, you understood that?" I say, "Yes, that was really funny." Everyone laughs, including me, together in the same moment. This feeling is amazing. Not just understanding words, but truly being part of the conversation, feeling the same emotions at the same time as everyone else. If you want to understand fast, real English, remember these simple steps. Listen every day, even for a short time. Choose audio that is easy and enjoyable for you. And most importantly, listen to the same short audio many times, not just once. Each time, your brain will notice something new. Slowly, the fast noise will become clear words. Slowly, you will start to understand not just the words, but the feeling, the humor, and the real connection between people. Now I have words, clear pronunciation, natural grammar, and trained ears. I understand much more, and I speak much more comfortably. But there is still one final important step. All these skills are useless if we never use them in real life, with real people. In the next chapter, the final chapter, we will talk about how to take everything we learned and turn it into real conversations, real friendships, and real confidence in the English-speaking world. Chapter 6. From Practice to Real Conversations. Now I have come a long way. I remember the day I froze in front of a tourist, unable to say even one sentence. I remember my old notebooks, full of grammar rules I never used. I remember the worker in the shop who could not understand my pronunciation. I remember the conversation where I sat quietly, smiling, but understanding nothing. All of that feels far away now. But I know one thing very clearly. None of this happened just by reading, listening, or practicing alone in my room. The real change happened when I started using English with real people, in real moments, even small ones. One afternoon, I am walking home from school. I see an old man standing near a bus stop. He looks confused. He is holding a piece of paper, looking at it, then looking around. I can see he's a tourist. Something inside me, the old me, wants to walk past quickly. The old fear whispers, "What if you don't understand him? What if you make a mistake?" But then I remember everything I practiced. The mirror, the simple sentences, the stories, the shadowing, the listening again and again. I take a breath and I walk towards him. I say, "Excuse me, do you need help?" He looks relieved and says, "Oh yes, please, I am looking for this address." He shows me the paper. I read it. "I know this street." I say, "Ah, yes, I know this place. It is not far. You need to go straight, then turn left at the big shop and it will be on your right." He listens carefully, nods and says, "Thank you so much. You explained that very clearly." I smile and say, "You're welcome. Have a nice day." He walks away, and I stand there for a moment. This conversation was not perfect. I am sure I made a small mistake somewhere, but it does not matter. He understood me completely. I understood him completely. We connected, two strangers, through English for just 1 minute. But that 1 minute feels huge to me. It feels like proof. Proof that everything I practiced, all those quiet moments alone, all those small steps, they were not wasted. They were preparing me for this exact moment. This is something important to understand. All the practice we do, talking to the mirror, reading simple stories, shadowing videos, listening again and again, none of this is the final goal. These are like training exercises before a real game. A footballer practices passing the ball, shooting, running again and again, alone or with a coach. But the real joy, the real result, comes when they play a real match, with real teammates, real opponents, and real excitement. In the same way, our real match is real conversation. With friends, with strangers, with colleagues, with anyone. This is where everything comes together. The words from our reading appear in our sentences. The pronunciation from our shadowing makes us clearer. The grammar from our listening flows naturally. The understanding from our repeated listening helps us follow what others say. Everything connects in one living, moving conversation. After this small moment with the old man, I feel something change inside me. I start to look for more small moments like this. I do not wait for big, perfect opportunities. I do not wait until my English is good enough. I use every small chance I find. At the cafe where I work, I talk a little more with customers, not just taking orders, but asking simple questions like, "Are you visiting our town?" Or, "Do you like this coffee?" At the football field, I talk more with my teammates, not just shouting, "Pass the ball," but also asking, "How was your day?" Or, "Do you want to get something to eat after this?" Each small conversation feels a little easier than the one before. It is like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, the snowball is small. It moves slowly. But as it rolls, it picks up more snow, becoming bigger and bigger, moving faster and faster. In the same way, my first small conversations felt slow and a little difficult. But each one added a little more confidence, a little more comfort. Soon, conversations that once felt impossible now feel normal, even enjoyable. One evening, my friend Daniel, the one who told me about reading simple stories long ago, says to me, "Maria, do you realize how much you have changed? A few months ago, you barely spoke. Now you talk, you joke, you explain things. You sound so natural." I smile because I know exactly what he means. I think back to that day at the coffee shop, frozen, unable to even point properly. And now, here I am, having a full conversation, laughing, feeling comfortable. I want you to understand something important. Every person who speaks English fluently today, every single one, was once a beginner, just like you. They also felt fear. They also made mistakes. They also froze sometimes, or said the wrong word, or could not understand a fast conversation. The difference is not that they were naturally good at languages. The difference is that they kept practicing, in simple, small ways, and they kept using English in real life, even in small moments, even when it felt scary. So here is my message for you as we finish this journey together. Do not wait for the perfect moment to start speaking. Start today, even with just one sentence in front of a mirror. Do not wait until you know enough words. Start reading simple stories today, even just one page. Do not worry if your pronunciation is not perfect. Try shadowing today, even for 5 minutes. Do not stress about grammar rules. Trust that reading and listening will slowly build your natural grammar. And do not avoid fast, real English. Listen to it, even the same short clip again and again, until your ears adjust. And most importantly, look for small, real moments to use English every single day. A simple hello to a tourist, a small question to a colleague, a short comment to a stranger who looks lost. Each small moment is a seed, and with enough seeds planted again and again, a beautiful garden grows. A garden full of confidence, friendships, and real, living English. If this video helped you understand how learning to speak English really works, step by step, then I have a small request for you. Please give this video a like. It helps me know that this kind of content is useful for you, and it helps more learners just like you find this video too. If you have a question, or if one part of this video felt special to you, please write it in the comments below. I read every comment and I love hearing your stories and your progress. And if you want more videos like this, simple, step-by-step, easy to follow, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next video. Remember, every small step you take today brings you closer to speaking English with confidence. Keep going, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next video.